We traveled to the UK in June of 2023, and I'm just now getting around to editing the videos. We stayed at Hazlitt's Hotel in the Soho district of London. It was a really old hotel that was built in the 1700s. We started off our tour in London by visiting the Churchill war rooms, which were used during World War II. They were bunkers that were apparently not bomb resistant, but they told everyone who worked there that they were. If you didn't know already, London was heavily bombed during the Blitz, which was during World War II. Our next stop was Buckingham Palace. After seeing this background so many times in news clips and movies, TV, etc., it was just so surreal to see it in person. It's very fancy. So this was just about a month after King Charles' coronation. They were preparing for Trooping of the Colour here, which takes place in June, and celebrating the monarch's birthday in June as well. We were there during the Trooping of the Colour in the UK, but we unfortunately were not in London at the time. Poor timing, I guess, but it just didn't really fit in with our schedule. We stationed ourselves by the front gates of the palace. Well, I don't know if this was the only front gate, but they did a police escort, and I don't think we really saw anyone of importance. There was one person who came in, but nobody could figure out who they were.
Right across, folks, across it very quickly, very quickly. When you need to cross very quickly.
They took a wrong turn. No, I'm just kidding.
Is this the Hilton?
Guys, wait down.
Yeah, the windows are tinted. Our next stop was Westminster Abbey, where the Queen's parents married, the Queen herself married, her sister married in, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson also married here, as well as Prince William and Princess Catherine. Many well-known monarchs are buried here, such as Elizabeth I, and nearly every coronation since William the Conqueror has taken place in the Abbey. The coronation chair is also in the Abbey, and the most recent coronation of King Charles III took place just the month before we visited. We also visited the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Gallery. The Platinum Jubilee of 70 years of Queen Elizabeth's reign had happened the previous year. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to film inside. Then we rode the London Underground, or Tube I believe it's called, correct me if I'm wrong. I was excited for this. I love trains, and this was much more clean than the DC Metro, which is the commuter train that I ride a lot of the time.
I'm a London historian that cannot sit still. So 7 years ago I had to become a tour guide. This is my day job, it's my night job, as you can see. And what an evening to be doing a walking tour. I've worked all through the winter, through a cold spring, and suddenly this is happening. So I'm very happy to be here tonight. And what is it that you've signed up for? You have signed up for a Jack the Ripper tour. I say you have signed up for this. I've got a feeling some of you signed up for this. Some of you are with the people that signed up for you. Well, let me start with a promise. Whether you're the person who booked it or not, whether you're an expert or whether you know nothing, tonight my promise is to try my hardest to do something for everybody. Now, to do that, we have several themes. Hello. Firstly, it's a murder mystery. Can anybody here tell me how many people did Jack the Ripper kill in Whitechapel in 1888? Sorry? Oh, what a great answer! I've been a tour guide for 7 years. For 5 years I've been doing this tour. And I don't think anyone's ever given the correct answer so quickly, because it's actually a trick question. And just to repeat what she said, I don't think there's ever been a confirmed number, Jeremy. And you're correct, there's never been a confirmed number. It's a trick question, please. But then they repurposed it as a restaurant and also a hotel through this door here. But if you've been here in the 1880s, this was Ye Frying Pan Pub. And it was here, inside, in Ye Frying Pan Pub, that on the night of August the 31st, Polly Nichols was drinking. Now, Polly Nichols was 43 years of age. She had lived a very tough life, but especially the last 8 years, because 8 years earlier, she'd had to leave her husband, who was having an affair with a neighbour. He ended up having children with the woman next door. She had to try and survive on her own in Whitechapel. Very difficult back then, and much of her time was spent homeless, going from place to place. She briefly had an opportunity working as a servant in a nicer part of London, but then they fired her for stealing. Hello! How are you? Fantastic! What a lovely smile you have. So they briefly hired her, but then she got fired for stealing. Now, was she actually stealing? We don't know. Maybe they just used that as an excuse to fire her, but then she was back to being homeless again. Now, why was she in the pub in this building that this gentleman's in right now? We don't know why she was drinking there, but we do know that she came out of the doorway here, and she went in that direction down Thrall Street. Now, Thrall Street runs down there. There's nothing original in that direction that survived for me to show you, although we do have this old street sign, which always ends up on the documentaries. You'll see that, I bet. You'll be watching the documentary, but Jeremy said that show that street sign. That will be in the documentary, that sign. But nothing in that direction, because nothing's original there. But what used to be down there were doss houses. Doss houses back then, where you would go when you were homeless.
The next day, we set off to do a Tower Bridge tour. This is right next to the London Tower. Not to be confused with the London Bridge. The London Bridge is kind of flat and not exciting, I guess because it's so old. But everyone thinks that this is the London Bridge. It was £12 per adult for a ticket. I think this was another item that you had to reserve online because it filled up fast.
It's gonna make sense to you. Monday, Sunday, Wednesday, I put a spell on you. Lose your head, go anywhere. In my bed, we'll disappear. Know what you like, know what you need. So lose your head, follow me. Do you like the song? Will you hypnotize? Open up your eyes, watch me hypnotize.
day before, we booked a dinner cruise or evening cruise, sunset cruise, whatever, on City Cruises. I don't think this was that much, maybe 30 pounds or something, but well worth it. I absolutely live for evening cruises and overnight cruises. The dinner cruise was on the Thames River in London, and there were tons of Uber boats around. I think they're about 7 pounds, but they're basically a water taxi. We also came upon this super yacht that included a helicopter and pool on board. It is owned by a man who created Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. There are varying estimates, but it's believed to be worth $250 million and cost several million a year to operate. So this was a circular timeline of London, including when it was founded about 2,000 years ago by Romans. It also listed the estimated population at each time interval. This was right outside the Tower of London. I kind of thought the wildflowers were a nice antidote to the dark history of the tower. This was also something you needed tickets for. It was £35 per adult per ticket and about £18 per child. So the Tower of London site was originally carved up by William the Conqueror, and it was later built into a tower by Henry III and his son Edward I, who is also known as Edward the Longshanks. If you've watched Braveheart, this is the old king, the long grayish white hair. Some famous people who were executed at the Tower of London include Anne Boleyn, Queen of Henry VIII, Lady Jane Grey, and Sir Walter Raleigh, who the town of Raleigh, North Carolina is named after, and he also settled the lost colony of Roanoke off the coast of North Carolina in 1587.